Hey y'all, welcome back to my channel. So the other day I came across a video and they were talking about right there in that little crest. I cannot make this any bigger. I can even try to put a magnifying glass over top of it, see if I can make it bigger. I'll take a screenshot and I'll insert it in the video. Anyway, they were talking about this little thing, that little crescent right there. Is it a little thing, that little crescent right there? Is it a spider? Is it an owl? It seems to have legs. I'm wondering if it's a griffin. Um, it got me really curious. So I went ahead and I looked at my single $2 bill that I have in my possession. I was at the grocery store. I got some change, looking at fives, examining with my, just under my magnifying glass, like looking at all these legal tender notes of legal tender. Anyway, let's really examine the $1 bill because it's got some really curious things on it, and it got me thinking about U.S. history and other stuff and all of the things that we're told, which is crazy. Okay, so here we go. Okay, so while we're looking at this, there's Latin phrases on the back side of the $1 bill, referencing the Great Seal of the United States. Annuit Coptus, above the pyramid, he, meaning God and providence, has favored our undertakings. Novus Ordo Seclorum, below the pyramid, translates a new order of the ages, and E pluribus unum, on the banner in the eagle's beak, out of many, one. So the first phrase indicating that Providence has approved the creation of the United States. And then the second one, the Novus Ordo Seclorum, is referring to the beginning of a new American era. And this was chosen by Charles Thomson, Thomson. I'm negligent in my history. I'm going to look him up and let you know about that. But he chose that to signify the start of the new American Republic of 1776. Please know that America is not a democracy, it's a republic. In school, we pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, not the democracy. So just a little bit of clarification there. Those of y'all who think we have a democracy, we don't. We have a republic for the moment. And then at the base of the pyramid, there is the Roman numerals, which stand for 1776. Now, additionally, we're going to look at some coins, the penny specifically, because the penny has been discontinued as November 12th of 2025 was the last minted penny. And the reason that they're saying that they're doing this is because to make a penny costs 3.7 cents per coin, and pennies in our currency are only worth 1 cent, so it didn't make sense economically for them to make pennies anymore. But pennies are still legal tender, and they're going to stay in circulation. They're not removing the pennies from circulation. So we'll see about that. See what happens. Back during COVID, some of you all may remember seeing places where you could turn your coins into paper money. Like if you went to the bank and tried to get a roll of quarters, they would say that they had a coins shortage. And it seemed like there was a coin shortage everywhere, but at the same time, I know even in my little town in North Carolina, I was seeing these machines in like grocery stores, or if you went into a bigger department store or something, somewhere outside in the little foyer area or in customer service, they would have the machines where you could put your coins in and get dollars out. So that's just a very curious thing I was noting back at the start of 2020 and 2021. Anyway, okay, let's look at some money. So Charles Thompson, he was the Secretary of the Congress of the Confederation, and he came up with the phrase Novus Ordo Seclorum from a poem by a Roman poet, Virgil, and he wrote that the phrase signified the beginning of a new American era as of the date of the Declaration of Independence, 1776, which was depicted in the Roman numerals at the base of the pyramid, like I said before. But that was where that phrase came from, just so y'all know. So the cat is here helping me, as you can see. So a couple of things I wanted to make note of. So this is our the current nickels that we have. Look like this. But back in 1913 to 1938, our nickels had a buffalo on one side and an Indian's face on the other. This is 1935. So nickels were originally silver back in the day when money was first being minted. It was originally silver, but then in 1866, they began to make nickels out of the metal nickel and copper, so they were no longer a silver coin. And then other coins like these. Now this was a commemorative because 1776 to 1976, but you can see that it's a composite. There's a silver layer on the outside, and so silver is eliminated from being the entirety of the coins, and that included the quarters and also the dimes. And that started in 1965, which is really interesting. And then on the pennies, which I've lost the really shiny one. My cat has stolen my money. So in 1943, because of the war, they started making, they still had the wheat symbols on them, but instead of being out of copper, because they needed the copper for the war effort, so for 1 year, from 1943 to 1944, these were made out of steel, and they were coated, they were zinc, but they were coated with steel. And then they went back to making them out of copper, and then they still had the little wheat thing on the side. And if I can find the one that was up here, I don't know what she did with it. It's not falling off the table. I don't know. It was a shiny copper one, the ones that we use now. Additionally, quarters all used to just have the eagle on the back of them, but a number of years ago, they did a whole commemorative of all the states, and then they started doing other commemoratives of different people and inventions. And it's just been a really fascinating thing for people who, oh, there goes something. Okay, here's the penny. Here's what they look like now, and it just says 1 cent. So, because I examined all the other money and didn't find any other strange things on it, it's just a really curious thing as to, what is that? Do y'all know? I mean, is it just like somebody put that on there so that, this would identify it? The first engraver was like, I'm just going to put a little secret symbol in here. What do y'all think? That's all I've got for you today. Just pondering on money and what's going on in the world and why we're not going to, be making pennies anymore, and why silver coins, which used to be able to be dropped into a jug of water to keep it purified, they don't, unless you have a really old coin that's pure silver, it just no longer has the antimicrobial benefits that it did back in the day. All right, see you in the next video. Till then.